name's Rich Harrington, and in today's lesson, we're going to show you how to replace a sky. Now, one of the things that I find in my own photography is that it's often fairly straightforward to get a nice exposure, but the sky doesn't always cooperate. Maybe it's a really flat, lifeless day, and there's not a cloud cover to be seen. Or it's just really cloud covered and you've got no blue sky or overcast. The truth of the matter is you can't control the weather. So one of the things I do is when I see a great sky, I shoot pictures of it. I have a whole collection filled with just photos of the sky that I can use different times of day, different angles, different cloud cover, and I find it's a great way to get things done. So let's explore. You see here in this picture that we've got pretty nice cloud cover, except this is how it started that day. In order to get the exposure of the boat, the sky got a little overexposed, and there's just really not that much there that's interesting. Well, let's go ahead and make a selection to go ahead and get that sky. Now, I've already done it here and stored it as an alpha channel, but it's pretty straightforward. You can go ahead and use the calculations command, which is a technique we've covered here on Understanding Adobe Photoshop. It allows you to combine two channels together. You can go ahead and invert that in this case and try out different blending modes until you find something that lets you accurately capture what you want. That's looking pretty good there. Click OK. Command L for levels, and we just push everything else to white while the sky stays pretty dark. That looks good. I'll go ahead and just grab my paintbrush here, and with white, paint in some of those missing spots. Looks good. And let's just round that out. There we go. And we've got a selection. Now in this case, if I load this, it selects everything but the sky. So I could just go ahead and press Command I to invert. And you see we got a decent alpha channel. There's the one I just made. Here's the one I had before. You could use either one, it doesn't matter. If you want to try making your own with that calculations command that we've taught you in the past, give it a shot. Otherwise, use the alpha channel that's already stored in the document. You're going to go ahead and command click that to load it so you have an actual selection. And there we have it. Here's my layer. Double click and we'll give that a name. I'll call this boat. Now we've got a selection and we want to hide this sky. You could do that by adding a layer mask. And if the wrong part is showing, it's not a big deal. You can just click the masks button here and choose invert, and you can swap that. If you don't want to see the alpha channel, just turn it right off and there's your image. Now what I want to do is replace the sky here. Let's go ahead and grab a photo of sky. And I've got several in a folder on the disk that comes with the book Understanding Adobe Photoshop CS5, or you can use your own. I think this is a pretty good one, so I'll go ahead and choose Select All and Copy, and then switch back to my boat document and paste it in. Now that layer's there, and if I need to, I can angle this. If you're using Photoshop Extended, you can go ahead and actually convert that to a postcard layer and rotate it in 3D space, or just press Command T for free transform, and you can actually just choose perspective and usually get the job done as well. Let's just get that where we want it, and we'll skew it a little bit. Looks good. Put that behind the layer and have a look. Well, that's looking pretty good. Got the water line there, I've got the sky. I can nudge that into place. It's looking pretty good overall. Let's just do Command T for free transform, right click, and we'll choose perspective. And I'll give those clouds just a little more perspective to the scene, like they're blowing through. Now, I'm happy with that, except the color isn't totally believable. So what I recommend is that you create a sandwich effect. You can go ahead and name this layer Clouds, and then just put a copy on top. Let's right click and say Duplicate Layer. We'll call it Cloud Overlay. And we'll set that on top here. And now we could change its blending mode. I recommend something gentle like Soft Light, and you just back the opacity off a little bit. And notice how putting that cloud color on top is creating a nice colored effect on the boat, making it look believable. If necessary, you can always add a layer mask and grab your paintbrush. In this case, I'll choose black, setting it to a lower opacity, and I could just gently brush out and hide some of this here like I'm doing, painting it so it's not quite as intense on this part of the boat. But I like really what that's doing to the trees there. It's making them seem much more like they're actually soaking up that sunlight and the color of the sky that we put in. So there you have it. That's replacing a sky using Photoshop CS5. It's a great technique that combines layer masking, alpha channel selections, the ability of transforming your layers to fit, and of course, our friend blending modes. For Understanding Adobe Photoshop CS5, my name is Rich Harrington.